Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a pang of jealousy? A friend's perfect vacation, a stranger's luxurious life. You look at their polished photos and think, I wish that was me. Today's story is a chilling reminder to be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. This is the story of a golden cage, a stolen life, and the terrifying price of envy. Alina and Zara grew up as two sides of the same coin, forged in the dust of a city's forgotten suburbs. They were inseparable, sharing dreams and struggles. But where Alina found peace in the small victories of life, building her own modest design business, Zara was a flame, always hungry for more. She saw wealth not as a goal, but as an escape. Her 20s were a blur of high society events, her eyes always scanning the room, not for a connection, but for an exit ramp from her middle-class reality. Then Julian arrived. He was the embodiment of everything Zara craved: old money, quiet power, and a bank account that could redraw the city skyline. But Julian didn't choose the fiery, ambitious Zara. He chose Alina, the calm, hard-working designer. For Zara, this wasn't just a disappointment. It felt like a cosmic injustice. The universe had made a mistake, and she was determined to correct it. The wedding was a spectacle of white orchids and vintage champagne. Alina, radiant in her gown, was living a fairy tale. But from the audience, Zara saw only a pretender, an amateur playing a role she didn't deserve. Within a year, Alina was the mistress of a stunning hillside estate. Marble floors, stretched out like frozen lakes. A fleet of high-end cars purred in the garage, and a silent staff catered to her every need. It was the life Zara had dreamed of. But behind the velvet curtains, the dream was a nightmare. Julian wasn't just a husband, he was a warden. His love was a form of ownership, his affection a transaction. He demanded a beautiful, silent possession, and Alina was learning the cost of speaking out of turn. The abuse wasn't random. It was a calculated cycle, a well-documented pattern of violence. It would start with tension, a cold critique of her friends, a sneer about her choice of dress. This emotional needling would escalate into an incident, a grip on the arm that was too tight, a sudden slap that left her reeling. Then came the reconciliation. Profuse, tearful apologies, accompanied by a new diamond necklace or a surprise trip to Paris. This was followed by a period of eerie calm, a flawless performance of the perfect marriage that left Alina psychologically shattered, unable to trust her own reality. She covered the bruises with $200 foundation and hid her aching ribs behind silk blouses. Her social media was a gallery of sun-drenched breakfasts and smiling selfies, a beautiful lie to protect her friend Zara from the ugly truth. She didn't want to tarnish the dream Zara so desperately admired. But Zara wasn't admiring it. She was coveting it. Blinded by the sparkle of the diamonds and the gloss of the lifestyle, she convinced herself that Alina was ungrateful, that she was squandering a gift. If I were her, Zara thought, I would know how to keep Julian happy. I wouldn't provoke him. Envy is a powerful drug. It short-circuits logic, turning desire into a dangerous obsession. Driven by this, a deep-seated sense of entitlement, Zara sought out a fixer, a woman who operated in the shadows, dealing in social manipulation and darker arts. The fixer's eyes were like cold ash as she listened to Zara's request. You want the man? She asked. To take his heart, you must tie your soul to his. But be warned, once you bind him to you, the knot only tightens, it can never be broken. Zara didn't hesitate. She paid the price and began her campaign. She became Julian's confidant, a safe harbor for his frustrations. She subtly planted seeds of doubt about Alina's loyalty, whispering poison into his ear at parties, twisting his controlling nature into suspicion. It didn't take long. Julian's volatile temper found a new focus. He discarded Alina with a terrifying coldness, stripping her of the house, the cars, and the jewelry he had once gifted her. Alina walked away with nothing but her life. And for her, escaping that beautiful house felt like running from a burning building. The very next day, Zara moved in. She walked across the cool marble floors, ran her hands over the silk sheets, and breathed in the scent of victory. She was the new lady of the house. She had finally won. The illusion shattered in less than 72 hours. This wasn't a honeymoon. It was an interrogation. Her perfume was wrong. He smashed the bottle against the wall. He saw her laugh with the gardener. He locked her in the master bedroom for 2 days with no food. When Zara, the fiery flame, tried to fight back, she discovered the horrifying truth of the fixer's work. The ritual hadn't just made Julian desire her. It had made him pathologically obsessed. He was spiritually and psychologically tethered to her. He couldn't bear to let her out of his sight. The luxury estate was no longer a prize. It was a high-security prison. Zara's story isn't just a dark fairy tale. Globally, about 1 in 3 women have experienced violence from an intimate partner. And for women in high-income households, the barriers to escape are often higher. The fear of losing financial security and protecting social status creates a cage of silence. Abusers in these situations often use love bombing, the expensive gifts, the luxury trips to create a cycle of guilt that makes the victim feel responsible for their own suffering. Zara was trapped, not just by walls and gates, but by the very wealth she had idolized. 6 months passed. Alina was back in her small apartment, starting over. Life was simple, but it was hers. She sat on her tiny balcony, sipping tea she had bought with her own money. and for the first time in years, she could breathe freely. Then, a frantic knock came at the door. It was Zara. She looked like a ghost draped in designer clothes. Oversized sunglasses failed to hide the purple swelling around her eye. She collapsed at Elena's feet, the truth pouring out in a torrent of sobs: the envy, the fixer, the dark ritual, the unending nightmare. "Help me," she begged. "Help me leave him." Elena looked down at the trembling, broken woman who was once her friend. She saw the marks, the hollowed-out eyes, and the sheer terror. She felt a deep, profound pity, but also a firm, unshakable boundary. "I forgive you for what you did to me," Elena said, her voice soft but steady. "But I cannot go back into that house. I barely made it out alive. You fought so hard to get in, and the fixer warned you. Some doors only open one way." Zara returned to the hillside estate. As the heavy iron gates clicked shut behind her, she realized she had gotten everything she ever wanted. The cars, the marble, the mansion, the rich husband. But as Julian's shadow fell over her in the grand hallway, his eyes burning with possessive fury, she finally understood the ultimate lesson of envy. Be careful whose life you try to steal. You might just inherit their demons, too. If you or someone you know is in a similar situation, please know that you are not alone and help is available. Resources and support lines are listed in the description below. Thank you for watching, and please, take care of yourselves and each other.